scheming, we know them your partner.
Young Zeke TV The Fix. We got Mr. Mayhem in the building. How you doing, fam?
I'm pretty good.
Appreciate you for coming through. For the people that don't know about you, man, tell them a little bit something about yourself.
Maham the Mentor is a youth mentor out of Dallas, Texas, man. And I write and publish my own books on Black American history. My first book out is called Black Massacres, about the 27 massacres that occurred after the Civil War began.
Oh, man, what inspired you to write this book?
I was talking to one of the young guys that I mentor, and he was telling me about Black Wall Street. And as I was telling him about other Black massacres that occurred beside Black Wall Street, he just couldn't believe that they had happened. And I just said, man, let me go ahead and write a book about it.
Okay. When you wrote this book, how long did it take you to strategize and write a book like this?
It took me about maybe 3.5 months.
3.5 months. Okay. And so when you was doing your research to write the book, how did you go about doing it?
I learned. Well, I mean, when I first I went to prison at 18 years old, and I couldn't read and write. I was in special ed, from 7th grade all the way. I went to prison while I was in high school. I graduated college with honors 3 times. I got a degree in horticulture, computer science, and I got my degree in business from Baylor University. So.
And you did all this while you was incarcerated?
No, I did some of it while I was incarcerated, but I also went to college after I got out.
After you got out?
Yeah. But I learned how to read in prison. I could not read at 18 years old. I didn't learn how to read till I was about 22. So I started reading this, gangster books and stuff like that.
I mean, okay. You know how to read now.
Right.
So what do you think was keeping you from reading at a younger age?
I was successful in the hood. I was a successful hood guy, what they call per se.
So really, you wasn't trying to read.
I wasn't trying to read in the hood. Yeah, I wasn't trying to read in the hood. No, that wasn't the thing as I was doing in the hood. I wasn't doing that in the world. It was one of the. I should have been doing it, but I wasn't.
Okay, we're gonna go back. 14, 15-year-old Mayhem.
Right.
In the hood. What kept you from getting your work done?
So what was I doing at 14 and 15?
Yes, sir.
I was robbing and shooting people at 14 and 15.
Robbing
and shooting, gang banging, and selling drugs.
Man, what got you into that?
Just the environment I lived in. It's part of the culture where I came from. That was what was going on for me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, something had to influence you, or you just came outside and say, man, this what I'm doing.
People outside influenced me, definitely. I grew up in that environment off Adelia in Spring Valley, or Adelia and Kingsley back in those days. And then I moved to Maham in Spring Valley. So it was a lot more traffic.
Maham in Spring Valley. I lived over there back in the day. Yeah. I heard you say you was a Crip.
That's where my name come from. I'm a Crip from off Adelia.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, because back in the day, Mayhem was Bloods when I was over there.
Definitely, we got a lot of Bloods on Mayhem. Shout out to my nigga Swamp and all my boys over there.
Right, yeah. My boy Al Cotton, Big Al Cotton, when I lived over there.
Yeah, we got a lot of Bloods.
Yeah, so back to the book, man. So you did all your research while using...
Well, once I started reading, it was a point in prison where I read a book about my brain. And I started understanding that what I was reading could have an effect on how I was acting. So I told myself I wasn't going to read any more bullshit ass books. So I started reading encyclopedias just to pass my time, just to become a better reader and just an avid reader. And so when I started reading these encyclopedias, that's when I would run across these Black massacres. I just started with whatever encyclopedia I would find available, I would read it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And these Black massacres don't say Black massacres. When you read about them in an encyclopedia, or if you hear them from a white version, they're going to call it a racial riot. So when you look up race riot, or when you see racial riot, understand that 9 times out of 10, this probably was a Black massacre. So I call it what it is. This is not a white person writing the book. This is a Black person telling you Black history from factual without us being the victim stances or without it being condemning to white people. I didn't write the book to shame white people or to talk about white people. I wrote this book for us to understand where we came from so we can understand what we built for, how we can overcome adversity, what our ancestors overcame, so our problems today we can overcome them as well. History has lied. That's what I'm saying. When white people tell history, they either glorify what they did or they undermine what we did and they hide what we did. Most black plantations were ran by black people. Just like prisons are ran by inmates.
They go back to my question.
Okay.
Why do you think we don't stick together? We don't stick together, and
I'm gonna say we do stick
we
together.
allow them to treat us that way. Like you said, they had black guys working in the fields, controlling slaves, some in the house.
Right. Black people control everything Black people control most aspects on a slave plantation. They're the ones who were overseas. There were few people who were over, most people who told black people what to do were black people. So the black people who were over, it was like black dominated. So white people you ever seen the movie Django?
Yeah, I've seen Django.
Right?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, Django is a good movie it's a fictional movie. But it's a movie that will give you a true understanding of because they had black people. They were black slavers. They were black people in America who owned they were black owned plantations, bro. In America, in the 1700s, the 1800s, the whole time during slavery, they were black people who owned slaves just like white people. Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, in Louisiana, the largest owning area in the United States was Charleston, South Carolina. This is where they had the majority of black owned plantations. The worst black owned plantation was in Charleston, South Carolina. He was a breeder, a historical person. And I'm telling you, it's crazy, right? When you learn history, that's what I'm saying. When you learn history, one thing that I learned from, because when as I explained in this book, when I was young, I was racist. I can say I was racist. I didn't like white boys. I didn't want to be around anything white. I gave white people a hard time, and I was wrong for that, right? Because I was condemning them for something they did. And I remember exactly when I almost became racist. I was watching the Public Enemy video. And the first time I saw it, it just, it pissed me off. And I cut off all white people after watching that video. I didn't deal with it. It took me it took me about 15, it took me going into prison to make me realize that race really, you got to be almost uneducated to be racist, to have a problem with a race person. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your principles and your character and how you maintain yourself.
Man, that's real. When would a black man come together?
Black men will come together. Well, first of all, we got to understand that black men are the most targeted people on this planet, man. And people know it, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is that black men, people just don't really they want to pervert the black man. They want to take the black man out of the position. They don't want to honor the black man. The black man has to work twice as hard. But again, people always ask me, from the beginning of time, black men is the foundation of America. And what I mean by this is that black men equals black labor. Black labor in 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia was absolutely necessary to establish the colonies of this country. Without black labor, America land has no value. Do you understand what I mean by this?
Yes, sir.
White people cannot work manually outside in the heat in August, September, and stuff like this here during the 1800s or the 1700s, before the Industrial Revolution was happening around 1920. So before then, everybody had to work in the field. So without field labor, black labor, hard, strong labor, America would not be here.
Okay. After all that, man, I'm gonna put this in like nigga terminology.
Right.
Okay, when we gonna get tired of getting pimped on, man? I mean, we built this, and then
This is
and
what I say.
they still.
When this is what I said. This is a great question. I created, Mayhem the Mentor isn't trying to be an author or, you know what I'm saying? I'm a youth mentor, but I created an organization like the Boy Scouts of America, right? It's called the Society of Israel, and it's foundation on character development, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, American history, and manhood. Each one of these are like things that we will do as a group of people. Entrepreneurship or character development is an accountability program that I developed along with some other people that we get together. And it's like, imagine if we get a group full of kids or young men and adults and we say, listen, our character development organization or our character development group consists of all of us socializing and being around each other enough where we can see if one of us are displaying or maybe have negative character traits, so we can help each other identify if we do or don't have those, so we can get rid of them and make ourselves have better character. But everybody can't hold everybody accountable. The number one ingredient for accountability is love. If I don't love you, I cannot hold you accountable. So I explain to my young people, hey man, I love you, and therefore I don't mind holding you accountable and telling you some news you can use. Accountability is a personal thing. It's not a public thing. I cannot hold you accountable in front of everybody. But what I can do is we can talk about how it's done and what it's done and what's negative character traits and how do we change those. Negative character traits are, you could be a liar, you could be aggressive, you could be aggressive, or you could be a liar, cussing, you could be a player, you could be all type of negative character traits or things that human beings can develop. Things you don't have to do, but you choose to do them anyway because that's kind of what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, man. That's dope too, man. You know, it starts somewhere, man. That's a good idea.
And then with the character, and we say, well, why do you have character development group? Because I tell people, well, I really want to teach you how to get money. But
Right.
I understand that if you can't, you as a person are a business, and nobody wants to do business with somebody with bad character.
Bad
So we got to get your
characteristics,
character
right.
on point before we start talking about entrepreneurship.
Right.
So once you start learning about entrepreneurship is how to accumulate money the correct way. Now, once you accumulate money, now I got to teach you financial literacy. Now, this is how you keep the money, because how you make the money and how you keep the money are two entirely different things and two entirely different subjects that we're going to teach and talk on. Then after that, we can talk about American history, because I want you to love and appreciate this country so you can utilize all of the laws and taxes and policies that we have available for us to become economic and build generational wealth. We got that here in America, but we don't want to. We want to talk about the country. We want to hate on the country. We want to be confused, and we want to talk about what ain't working instead of focusing on what is working and work that work. You feel me? And that's what we do as a group. Instead of one person talking about it, we all talk about it. Mayhem the Mentor number one slogan is, if you knew better, you do better. The more you know, the less you can be manipulated by anybody, even me. I'm telling you, I ain't trying to trick you. What I'm telling you, I'm confident. When you go verify and let us know. If I'm wrong, make me stand corrected. This is accountability, so I can be corrected, because what I'm trying to do is lead us in the right direction. One thing as a leader, not a leader, but a servant leader is what I am. I'm not a leader, I'm a servant leader. I'm trying to serve the people who I'm trying to lead with the right information. News we can lose. If I'm trying to lead somebody and I'm sending them the wrong way, am I leading them or am I misleading them?
That's the blind leading the blind.
And right now, you got a lot of people who are not even qualified to be talking about anything, talking about everything, and people give these guys a platform and they listen to him and say, man, he sounds entertaining, but where is the work? What are you really doing? What can you really teach? What have you really been through? You know, my mama has overdosed on drugs. My daddy was murdered. I've been in special ed. I understand what it's like to be in special ed. I understand what it's like to have learning disabilities, and I understand what it's like to be in prison. I understand what it's like to pick cotton. I understand what it's like to receive fruit and oranges and apples and peppermint on Thanksgiving. I done that on Christmas Eve in prison, because you know how they do this. That's how they used to do slaves.
Right.
I've been treated like inhumanely, like you say. And now after going through all that, it taught me first and foremost, and also reading these books, you know what it taught me? I'm built to overcome adversity. America is one in 195 different countries. No country on the planet is crazy. If you think American history is crazy, look at Japan history. Do you know about Japan history?
No.
You don't know nothing about Japan
I'm pretty
history.
sure
You would love to be in slavery. I'm telling
sure
you, you would love to. After I used to look at slavery.
Man, they say it's still rough to live over there right now. Right?
It ain't. I don't know, but I'm telling you, I'm talking about Japan. Japan, they got warlords, right? Now listen to this, right? You talking about some black massacres, Chinese massacres overshadow us, man. In Japan, during slavery, when we was going through slavery in Japan, they had warlords like gangs, like Crips and Bloods. And whenever one wanted to get bigger, they just went in and annihilated everybody. And when they went in and took over the next town or next tribe, they killed everybody. But in the midst of catching them, they caught them. And when they caught them, if they didn't surrender, they killed them. But if they surrendered, they lined them up in front of the warlord and they cut the head off. If you don't believe me, when you got time, research the history of Japan. Read it, look it up, and you see which would you rather go through, slavery or living in a village that can eat a day. And what happened is, you know what happened, right? One tribe annihilated all the other tribes.
Right.
And they took over Japan. But how many people got killed?
Like America did the world.
Japan is covered. They have the thing. When I was reading, they said Japan rivers ran in blood. It was literally red rivers of blood because that's how much killing was in Japan. I said, man, glad to be an American. Shit, man, you crazy. But what I'm telling you is that when you start studying the world and you understand, you have appreciation, you say, well, okay, I can get it now. Life is not fair. You know, don't nobody owe us nothing. One of the main things that I want to tell kids that I deal with, man, is that it might not necessarily be your fault you're in the predicament that you're in right now. But guess what? It's your responsibility, no matter what, to deal with it. So you gonna deal with it like a man, or you gonna deal with it how you want to deal with it? Either you gonna deal with it by yourself, or you can deal with it with others who've been through it and can help you. The choice is yours. But I can't help nobody who don't want to be helped, and you can't help nobody who don't want to be helped neither. So hey, it's a two-way street. I gotta be willing to help you, but you gotta be willing to look for some help too as well. I can't help you if you ain't trying to help yourself.
Right. Okay. The white man own banks and buildings.
On banks and buildings.
The Mexican man, they buying gas stations, buildings, communities, and building their own communities.
Right.
The Asian got their own community. They got grocery stores and nail shops and beauty salons. I mean, you see what I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
What do the black man got? And why? Why is it that they don't got nothing?
Martin Luther King.
You blame Martin Luther King?
Am I blaming you? No, you. I'm telling you the facts. You said, why don't black people why don't we have black-owned grocery stores? Why don't we have black-owned stores? Why don't we have black-owned banks?
I mean, we don't got it, but why can't we come together?
We had it.
And
we had it. We had black-owned banks. We had black grocery stores. We had black shoe stores. We had black doctors. We had black banks. We had black everything. We had it. When you know history, that's what I'm saying. Because you don't know, before Martin Luther King.
Put us down. Let us know.
Before Martin Luther King, right? Before Martin Luther King, Black Wall Street and Slocum, Texas, these are places that were massacred because black people were so successful. Black people had success after the Civil War. After the Civil War, you have to understand that black people were the only people who really knew how to work and make money and generate stuff. So after the Civil War, they immediately went out there and accumulated a lot of money. They were workers. They worked. They knew how to get money. So black people in South Dallas and in North Carolina and Louisiana and everywhere, Memphis, black people would get into the bag. We had black-owned everything. Everything was segregated in the South. Listen, everything was segregated in the South. Now imagine this. So back in the days, you couldn't go to the white store. You had to go to the black doctor. You had to go to the black shoe store. You had to go to the black funeral parlor. You had to go to the black. Everything was black. So all the money
for black people,
for black people, by black people, everything. Black money stayed in the black neighborhood. We were accumulating wealth. We had a lot of black everything. We had it all. Martin Luther King came and he said, stop going to the black people's shop and go to the white people's shop. And people stopped going to black neighborhoods, stopped supporting black stores, and started spending their money. And eventually they changed the laws and they said, it's this. That's why they praised Martin Luther King so much. Martin Luther King took black people economic power away. We stopped spending money in the neighborhoods and we started spending money with white folks. And that is, then we lost all the black banks. We lost all the black shoe stores, all the black grocery store, all the black money that went through the black neighborhood that took care of black people went away after Martin Luther King.
Man. Okay. We got NFL, NBA, probably over 80% black. And all of them millionaires. Not all of them, most of them. Million and multi-millionaires. Why don't none of that money generate back down to the lower end of the black community? Like
success will make people, some people not listen, and a lot of people who come into the NBA, NFL, they become successful. They get a lot of money. That money equals success to a lot of people's imagination. They don't have any intellectual property. They're smart. They're physically strong. They got a lot of experience, but they don't have no true knowledge about history, so they don't care. They're successful. Success, they're not listening. I'm successful. I don't have to listen to nobody. I need to buy a boat. I need to buy a watch. I don't listen. I don't listen. I'm special. I'm special. I'm the NFL player. I'm the NBA player. I don't want to listen to nobody. So what? Your problem ain't my problem. I don't want to do that.
I made it.
Yeah, I made it, man. And he told me I made it. He told me I made it. He told me, my mama told me I can't hang around you, so I can't hang around. So they got a lot of pulling them that would keep them focused on some power over principles instead of because they know struggling. They know how to get back. There's no reason in the world we shouldn't have thousands of NBA players, in every hood, spending money. We don't have that, bro. We don't see that. We don't have it. It doesn't happen because these guys get money and they become selfish and they become self-gratifiers and they do what they do, man. And it is what it is. The evidence is on the street. You know what I'm saying? And I hope I don't become a statistic to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When I get a little money, I'm always in if I'm not in the streets talking to kids, I'm in prisons or in schools, talking to kids about character, man. I'm talking to them about their family, man, and stuff like that. And business, because I want you to have money so you don't have to compromise your principles for nobody.
So that's what I was gonna say, man. That boils back down to what you doing, mentoring.
Yeah.
If you can catch them at a young age and teach them the right how to handle money and get their mind right.
Responsible.
Once they get that money, they'll know how to spend it and where to spend it.
The main goal for my inner kids is the first goal is a financial stability, and the financial stability needs to be a clear goal. When I tell a kid what is financial stability, that means having 6 months of living expense saved up into a certificate of deposit that's gaining more rate than the rate of inflation. See, kids need to know this. It don't need to be an imaginary number. It don't need to be something they need to sit down and figure it out. But it takes one of us to sit down and talk to them. Somebody that can live the respectable life, that really say, man, I'm a man of character, and you can check my background. You can ask people about me. It's hard to talk about me, especially the people who know what I've really been through and how I got to learn what I'm learning. Like everything that I learned was accident. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be no author, mentor, none of that. You feel me? But it is what it is.
Learn.
Just I got to embrace what God has given me. You know what I'm saying? And bestowed upon me.
Man, I'm gonna let you know right now, man. I appreciate the work you're doing, man, with the kids and the community, man. And keep it up, man. Don't let nobody stop you from doing what you're doing.
Say a major person will never let something minor from stop him from doing what he's doing, man. It's an old saying: don't sweat the petty, but pet the sweaty, man. And I'm a person who tries to stay focused, man. But I appreciate you, and I look forward to you holding me accountable, making sure that I'm doing, man, what I'm supposed to be doing, man. Because I depend on other people, man. I'm only as strong as my team around me, bro.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man, do me a favor. After this book sell 1 million copies, man, you gonna come back talk about it with me, man.
I'm gonna come back talk about these kids, man. Talk about hey, man, it's principles over power, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's always the same thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to help these
Man.
kids out, bro. It's not about us. It's about these kids, man, and trying to make sure that we keep a focus on that, man, and focus on helping that. They need our help more than anything, man. And that's what I'm here for them.
That's what's up, man. Giving back. You hold the book up and talk about it, tell the people where they can purchase it. And
man, you can find me on Amazon.com, man, and you can also, I got my own website. It's called MahamTheMentor.com. That is MAHAM, not Mayhem, but Mayhem, man. Cause from the street Mayhem out of North Dallas, that's my nickname, Maham the Mentor. Not OG Mayhem no more, but Maham the Mentor, because I'm a servant leader, not a gang leader, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to serve the people, serve the community. You know, I ain't trying to be famous, but and if you know some kids that need help, man, get at me. You know, some kids that need to buy a book or need work, get at me. You know what I'm saying? I'll show them, give them some news they can use, man, and show them how to be a man of character, man, and be responsible, man. That's my main objective, is to get these kids to be responsible, man. That ain't nothing else.
that's what's up, man. For that kid out there that was that's lost, 14, 15, was out there like you was when you was 15, man. Anything you want to look in the camera and tell him right now?
Hey, man, you built for this, man. You built to overcome adversity. You stronger than you think, and you are in full control of you and what you can do, man. You got to find you somebody that you see doing on this A game and watch him. You don't even have to ask for his permission to learn with him. You know what I'm saying? You can YouTube a lot of stuff, or you can reach out to Maham the Mentor, man, and get at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you on your A game. That A game is knowing what's going on in this world, man. If you knew better, you do better. The more you know, the less you can be manipulated by anybody, even me. Even me. See, when these other people talking to you, they trying to trick you. They want you to come by the church. They want you to come spend the money. I don't want you to do nothing but be responsible and be a man of character. There's one question I'm gonna ask you is, what do you want people to remember you for? You know, and that's what you're gonna be held accountable for when you come around me. I'm gonna make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, so you can be remembered for what you want to be remembered for.
There it is, y'all. Maham the Mentor, man. Y'all get at him. The Fix. We out of here.
I don't want to hear about none of them niggas that scheming, we know them your partner gun. I don't want to hear about none of them hoes you been fucking, they broke boy, them bitches bums. I don't want to hear about none of the leaks you been hitting, you been telling everybody. Nigga, the line moving quick, pull up, get your fix, we serving everybody.